Hi, welcome to Bear Mountain. Well, we've been getting a lot of questions on our previous videos about tarps and blankets and stuff and how we fold them up so nice and neat. And this is a trick we learned from Bathtub Gardens up in Canada. They posted this once upon a time, and I guess one of them was in their previous occupation was a firefighter and did a lot of wrapping up of hoses. And this is kind of the same technique. The first thing we do is make sure we have a couple of tie-ups, so when we get this thing all wrapped up we can tie it up. This is just simple baling twine with a loop on one end, and we'll tie a slip knot on the other. The whole concept behind this tie-up, or the wrap-up, is it's like an accordion. So you're going to go back and forth in a zigzag fashion. Usually, depending, it's roughly about 2 feet wide. And so a 100-foot tarp will pack down into, or a 100-foot frost blanket will pack down into a pretty compressed spot. And so when you get ready to undo it and you want to cover something, it's real fast. You set the wrapped blanket, undo the tie-down strings on one end of the bed, and you simply grab the end and walk, and it will undo the same way that you made it up. It's very fast and very neat. It's a lot more efficient than rolling it in a ball. We've done that before, and that's usually more of a pain because you have to walk and unroll at the same time. With this accordion method, you can just leave the bulk of it on the ground next to the bed where you want to put it, and just simply walk down the length of the bed, and then you can flip it over and cover whatever you need to cover. So let's get started. We'll show you how we get going. This is the end of one of our frost blankets we just took off. We're daring the gods today and saying it's time to start removing the frost blankets that we had on the scented geraniums. And so we start with one end of the blanket, and you look at it as saying it's about 2 foot. This is going to be about the width of your wrap. So what I do then is just kind of kneel on the ground, put one hand on the inside, and then it's a simple motion of back and forth, and then back and forth. And it takes about, for 100 foot, roughly, I don't know, somewhere a little over 42 wraps, I guess, if you want to call it that. And as you can see, it's being held in a nice accordion type fashion, pretty even. And it's just a matter of, back and forth and back and forth. And what we're doing is we're propping it up against my knees to kind of keep it in place. And if you get bored, you can always sing songs to yourself, Yo ho, blow the men down. Oops. Now we're near the end, and it's just keep wrapping until you get to the very end. The last piece may not go completely all the way across, but so you can just shorten it up a little bit. And it's pressed against my knees, so then I take the first tie down string, and I'll slip underneath one end, loop the twine through the tied loop, make sure that the string's covering the end, and then try to pull it down as far as you can for the first time. And this is just the first time through. Don't have it cinched all the way, it's just enough to keep it in place. And we'll put our second one on. We'll go all the way around. And again through the loop. Pull that tight. Now what we can do, if I can get the right spot, is we can start really pulling it down. What I do is I just kneel on it. Tie a slip knot. Go back and redo the other one, making sure that that's tighten down as far as you can get it. And same idea, another slip knot. And sometimes
Some things just kind of escape, so you just got to tuck them back in. It's not that big of a deal.
And there you go. This is a 100-foot frost blanket. Okay, this is a bed that we need to tarp for planting around the beginning of April. And it's just basically had a kind of either the duff left on it from last year's last crop and a little bit of the fall weeds that have grown through the winter. They haven't taken off yet, and or they've gone to seed, so it's an excellent time to start putting the tarp on these guys and keep the weed pressure down for next year. So this is a wrapped tarp, similar to what we did with the Agribon frost blanket. And what we do is we just simply undo the slip knots. And you can see it's under a little bit of pressure there. We find the immediate end of this end, and you can see now it's kind of unwrapping itself already. But now it just becomes a simple matter of walking it down the bed. Except when it gets hooked on something. Yeah, I put a nice hole in it. Okay, so what you can see is it just took a couple of minutes, probably could have been faster if I hadn't snagged it on something, to go down the length of this bed. This bed's 75 feet, the tarp is 100 foot, so we have some extra. And all we'll do is we'll keep this in the accordion style, and we'll just use our tie-down strings to tie up the excess and prop it at the end of the bed. The next step is just kind of even the tarp out a little bit and throw some sandbags on it, and this bed is tilled for spring. The great advantage of this is this method is you set it at the end of the bed. If you noticed as I was walking down, for the most part, this end, which is heavier, didn't move at all. It simply unwrapped itself in an accordion manner. So that gives it a lot more ease of working with, better again than, you know, standard way of people rolling things up and then having to walk the snowball down the hill, so to speak. And it makes it easier for tie-up and securing at the end of the bed if you have excess. So. Okay, so there you have it. This is a 100-foot frost blanket wrapped, oh, I got myself a ground beetle too. Wrapped up nice and neat in an accordion fashion. And so when you want to undo it, you'll simply put it on the ground, undo the slip knots, and walk it down. Just a reverse accordion basically, so it becomes very smooth. The other nice thing about doing it this way is through the strings you can basically set these guys up to hang it inside the tunnel. So like if you have days where, well, you're not completely done with freezing and you might need to put it out again, and we usually have these in spring until April, what we kind of do then is we'll put a string on it. It's a little longer than necessary, but we can hang this from a nail, as an example, right inside the hoop house, and you can adjust it to whatever height makes sense for you. And it's simply a matter of you know, doing another half hitch slip knot type thing. I'm big on those, and it'll hang right there. Now I wouldn't put it there because that's in the doorway, but you can easily put it off to the side and they'll be, you know, ready for you to use. So we do the same type of fold up for any of the tarps we use for occultation. Works well with anything up to about 8 foot wide, we found. When you get a little bit wider than that, I mean, you can multiple fold over, but it gets a little heavy. So hope this helps, and if you like what you see, check out any of our other videos. There should be a link at the end of this video with some videos that make sense associated with this one as well. Look for the Bear Mountain logo down in the corner if you want to subscribe and look at our videos on a regular basis. And any support you can give to help us get better equipment and do more of these videos going forward is much appreciated. There's a support icon there at the end too. It'll take you right to our website and walk you through, how to support us. And for all you people who have given us support, we really want to say thank you. It's really appreciated. We've gotten some better equipment, and hopefully you'll notice that the video is a little better and maybe the audio is a little better. But we're still learning, and everything is much appreciated. So thanks a lot, and we'll see you later. Bye.